Show. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who are watching and joining us here. We especially want to give a big shout out before we go any further to say thank you and welcome all of you who are the replay viewers on Periscope, on demand, wherever you may be. We appreciate you for joining us here on the live broadcast. We got a great show tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit of everything, as we always do on the Real Talk Sports Show. A little high school football, a little baseball, a little basketball, and of course, we're going to talk a lot of football as we move into the second half of the show. And so you guys keep it tuned in right here for all the great stuff. Now, before I go any further, of course, I have to also give a big shout out to those who are listening audio only on WIGO 1570 Atlanta's Incredible Radio and on WIGOAM.com. We thank God for those of you who are watching us via that platform as well. And of course, again, going around the many places that we are sharing. YouTube Live, thank you. Facebook Live, thank you, especially all the groups that let me share on your page. I appreciate you so much. And of course, on Periscope, we appreciate you very, very much. Well, let's get right to it. Here in Atlanta, we had kind of a weekend washout for most of the whole weekend. And one of the biggest disappointments was the Atlanta Braves, the Bravos, after jumping out to a 3-1 lead, fell to the Dodgers. And we're going to bring our baseball expert on, Mr. Brian L. Jones. Brian, welcome back to the show, sir.
Always a pleasure to be back. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, Brian, we were very excited for a long period of time, and then suddenly, once again, the rug was pulled out from under us as the Braves go down to the Dodgers. Ironically, 4-3 in Game 7 and 4-3 overall in the series. What was kind of the big turning point you think in that Game 7 first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the series?
Well, I think when it comes to Game 7, I think it was a number of things. I think the one play that stands out when it comes to the Braves is when Austin Riley and Dansby Swanson were on second and third base with no outs, and they both got caught in the double play. It was a big base running error, and I think that's what really helped the Dodgers be able to come away with a win. Now, granted, they got production out of their offense towards the end of that game. You're talking about Cody Bellinger getting that go-ahead home run in the seventh, I believe, but I think those base running errors really played key. And it was not just Game 7. It was throughout the entire series where the Braves just made those base running mistakes. And it's something that you haven't seen throughout the regular season. You haven't seen really throughout the playoffs up until the NLCS. So I think it's going to be little things like that where the Braves are going to look back and pretty much say that's the reason why they lost this series. Now, granted, they lost to a better Dodgers team. Dodgers are the best team in baseball. But when you have an opportunity, when you're up 3-1, and you have an opportunity to win just one of the last 3 games, you have to take advantage of that, and the Braves didn't do that. So overall, it was a really good season. It was a really good run, but they just came up short, and I think it just had to do with some of the mistakes they made in Game 7 that really cost them a trip to the World Series.
Well, no doubt, absolutely. And to me, the big key obviously was base running blunders both in Game 5 and in Game 7. And, if they had won, obviously, either of those 2 games, the Braves would be now getting ready for World Series game number 1. But alas, they are home. And, they may not be home. They might be on the golf course or getting ready to play some tennis. I'm not sure. We also want to do this, guys. One of our big sponsors for high school football, let's pop them up there, Allan Vigil Ford. Remember, we got a big game coming up this Friday, Jonesboro against Forest Park. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that later on in the game. Hopefully the folks from Jonesboro will join us, and also those from Lovejoy will join us as well. And speaking of joining us, I got a gentleman that is very familiar with Clayton County High School football because he himself played for the Morrow Mustangs and won himself a state championship. He now is very involved in giving back into the community and has a wonderful book and instructional guide out called the Student Athlete Playbook. Coach Barry Brown, welcome to the show, sir.
Good evening. How you doing, Brian? The minister, Jonathan Simmons.
Good to see everybody back in the building, sir.
Yes,
so you heard Brian talk about the Bravos. What was kind of your feeling as a sports fan watching that unfold?
Oh man, well, I'm a huge Braves fan, and it was very frustrating to watch it we had the opportunities, and Minister, you've heard me talk about this all the time. It's the little things that matter, the small things, and that's what we impress upon the young people. My direct children. It's the little things that can help you get over the top. And it was base running. Base running is the number one thing that stood out to me. Those base running mistakes changed the momentum of the game, in 2 games for sure, in particular. And it just took me back to Lonnie Smith back in the day in the in the early '90s when he made that base running mistake that changed the complex of a game, which could have helped the Braves win a World Series back then. So, hey, that was the major thing for me, the small things. But I'm excited. The Braves are there. We're back in our winning tradition of winning division titles, and now it's just a matter of time that we'll win a World Series again. I believe. I think we just one step. We know for sure we're one step away now. So I'm excited. Still disappointed, but excited for the near future.
Ron, you watch these guys all year long. What's your feedback in terms of what do you think the Braves need to add to get them over the hump to get to the World Series? Not only get there, but win it.
Well, they're in a situation where they have to make a decision on a few players. Marcell Ozuna, who led the National League in home runs and RBIs, he's a free agent. He only signed a 1-year, $18 million deal. There are going to be teams that are after him, and I think if the Braves want to keep him, they're going to have to sign him to a 3-year deal worth about at least $20 million per season. They're going to need another bat, I believe. Not having Adam Duvall throughout most of the NLCS really hurt them. And Mike Soroka, he might be back at the start of the season, but they're not sure yet. He's going to do everything he can to be there for opening day, but if not, then you would like to have another starting pitcher. I know that a lot of Braves fans would love to have Trevor Bauer just for 1 year. I think that would be a great decision. So we'll see how that goes. And then Mark Melancon and Shane Green, 2 great relievers. Mark Melancon was the closer, and they're free agents as well. So the Braves are going to have to make a decision on this. Alex Anthopoulos, this is a very crucial offseason for him because based on the way that this team played throughout the year and throughout the playoffs, the time is now for them to win a World Series. They've been rebuilding this team since 2017, which is when they moved to what was then called SunTrust Park, now Truist Park, and they've been building, and each year they've improved. Now it's World Series or bust. So you have to be aggressive and get some of these top-notch players. Alex Anthopoulos has to go to Liberty Media and ask for the money to get these players in order to make a World Series run. Because we've seen it, they're only 1 game away from being a world championship. We've seen this team get better each and every year. Now it's time to make a move. Now it's time to get to the World Series, be a World Series contender for the next 5 years.
Yeah, you talk about that, and sometimes when I look at Atlanta, being originally not from here, a lot of times I watch Atlanta teams. It's almost like there seems to be some type of choke syndrome that goes on. I hate to use the word choke, but they don't just seem to be able to take advantage of the opportunity. Because here's my mindset. Everybody likes to talk about young teams and we're coming back and we'll do something next year. But, I mean, the best way you can try to take a look at how those things work is talk to guys like Dan Marino. A guy that went to the Super Bowl in his second year, looked like the whole world was ahead of him. He had Don Shula, one of the greatest coaches ever in professional football history. Just a decade ago, had come off of winning 3 Super Bowls in the span like about 7 years. So you're thinking, hey, we'll be back. Matter of fact, they even did the commercial. Well, guess who never appeared back in another Super Bowl after that first year? Mr. Dan Marino. So for me, I'm like, hey, you got to win it now. I mean, you can't mess around. Now, again, I'm excited that the Braves are, like Barry said, once again win division championships. But I mean, we need a World Series title. Any free agents, Brian, out there that you see that the Braves might be able to pick up? You did talk about trying to obviously re-sign Ozuna, but anybody else out there you think we should keep our eye on that Braves might want to grab?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think the number 1 has to be Trevor Bauer. He's probably going to win the National League Cy Young for 2020. Just a really strong starting pitcher for the Reds. The thing is, I think if they're not able to sign Ozuna. They obviously need a couple of bats. I'm going to have to check and see who would be the best fit. But I think they're going to do whatever they can to sign him. But Trevor Bauer would be number one on my list if you can sign him to a 1-year deal. But I mean, they're pretty much set in key places. When it comes down to it, especially in starting pitching, it was great to see Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright, and Bryce Wilson step up, specifically in the playoffs. I think without the production of Ian Anderson, really, the Braves wouldn't be in the NLCS. So, I think free agency, they're going to look around. They're going to make some moves here and there. But, they have a team that's built to be World Series contender. They just need to add just a couple more players, and then they should be all set.
Well, there it is, guys. Listen, we're going to take a quick little station break here for everybody listening at WIGO. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, and we'll be back on it in just a moment. You guys keep it locked right here. Don't go nowhere, please, or you're going to miss it. Okay? Hang tight.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
I'm on the station break. I got to call you back. All right, guys, a lot going on here. We're multitasking here. We actually are our producer, an assistant producer on another show that just went off. So, you know how it is when they start calling you, hey, I had to tell them, hey, I'll be on the air. And speaking on the air, we appreciate again all those of you who are listening to us here on whatever platforms you have tuned into us. Again, you can see right across here we have Brian L. Jones, our expert on the Braves and also on pop culture, and a guy that has been very involved in the community and also in the world of sports, Barry Brown from the Student Athlete Playbook. He is back in the building. So we appreciate all you guys for joining us right here. Hey, man, listen, at the end of the day, I think one of the things that it showed once again with the Braves is energy. A lot of times Atlanta has gotten to, at least since I've been here, it's had at times a very corporate feeling to it. Whereas if you bring guys in who have a little flavor, a little character, Atlanta doesn't want to seem to have them on their team. But there's no question that Mr. Marcell Ozuna he was just literally the straw that stirred the drink with the Braves. And I had a couple of people kind of take a couple of shots at him every now and then, but basically his energy and keeping the clubhouse loose, unless you tell me I'm wrong, Brian, seemed to make a huge impact on his Braves team.
Oh, no question. I think just his energy, the way he plays each and every day, I think they really make a run throughout the entire season. They signed him last year because based on what he did with the St. Louis Cardinals against the Braves in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
And they knew his ability. They knew he had power. He won a Gold Glove recently, so he's a pretty strong outfielder. He was playing. He was at designated hitter for the most part throughout the playoffs. But his energy, everything about him was really beneficial for this team. You talk about Freddie Freeman probably being the National League MVP. I think, the team MVP probably has to be Marcell Ozuna because they signed him to replace Josh Donaldson, who had a great season for the Braves last year, just to help him protect Freddie Freeman. And I think because of that, he helped Freeman have a career year in terms of a 60-game season. So Ozuna definitely was huge for the Braves in 2020. And I know fans want the Braves to sign him to whatever he wants in terms of a contract.
Yeah, no question, man. Having all those bats in the middle of the lineup, the Braves, I mean, they look like a little murderer's row there for a minute. You have Acuna, you have Albies, you have Ozuna, you have Freddie Freeman, and then, off the bench, you can, bring in the big bat, young Mr. Riley, who unfortunately his base running blunders, that's going to stay with him for a while. But, I mean, his bat and his youthful energy does it as well, man. So, I mean, yeah, again, I think there's going to be great stuff going on. I think that I think that it's just going to be good stuff. I mean, I'm excited about the possibilities, and I'm excited about, being here in Atlanta. Well, speaking of possibilities, Brian, before you go, let's get the full house effect up in here. We have a gentleman who we call the savant of basketball. He has been a long time, really aficionado of basketball, but really, guys, giving us insight across the country. Back in his home state of Michigan and Detroit, he's been on TV there, also been on TV here in Metro Atlanta, and for a long time was the featured NBA and overall basketball guy for the 92.9 The Game. Deshaun Tate, I believe, is in the building. Deshaun, welcome back, sir.
Hey, I appreciate you guys for having me, Mr. Brown, Mr. Jones. Man, I'm in the presence of some greatness, man. So I'm really happy to be here.
we wanted to get the quadrangle working. So yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, man, we appreciate all you guys for taking time out of your schedule. 'Cause I know everybody's very busy, and a lot of time with the Real Talk Sports Show, we have a way of notifying our guests very late. So we appreciate you guys for popping in and hanging out with us. Again, speaking of popping in, we appreciate those of you who are popped in on Periscope. We appreciate those hearts fluttering up there. We appreciate that very, very much. Also, those of you on YouTube, we appreciate you. Speaking of that, let's go to social media for some comments here. Oh, we done stirred up a little something there. Speaking of a guy that likes to stir the drink, it's the guy I think that really has an outside input on all of us being on the air. He has a great show called 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio on Facebook. The one and only Vincent Turner is in the building with a comment from Facebook. Let's pop it up there and let's see what Vincent has to say. He's saying, hey. He's giving a shout out to Mr. Barry Brown and to Deshaun and all the crew. So appreciate him. And he's talking about them Lakers and the Braves, all that good stuff that's going on. So we're going to get to all that, Mr. Football. We appreciate you for bopping as you always do, making sure we're on point. Mr. Football, he don't miss nothing. I mean, he don't miss a thing.
That's right.
So he wanted to make sure that all of us knew that he was watching somewhere in the atmosphere. Well, listen, Brian, I know that, like I said again, you were nice enough to kind of pop in on our show earlier in the broadcast. So before you go, how we do it. We always like to make sure people know where to follow you, how to follow you on social media and the website. And, of course, that means the floor is yours.
I appreciate it. You can find me at popculture.com/sports. I'm the trending sports writer. I recently interviewed former Carolina Panthers running back Jonathan Stewart, so I have a couple of stories up there now. Next week, I'm going to interview former Brave Mark Teixeira. He has some good things going on. I'm going to talk to him about the World Series and the future of the Braves, so you should check that out. Again, that's popculture.com/sports. And for any trending or entertainment news, I got some good entertainment stories coming up. Be sure to check out popculture.com. You can follow me on Twitter. That's at BrianJones_PC. And I also have a podcast. It's called Always Football Season. I'll have a new episode come out in the next couple of days. You can find out wherever you get your podcast. And I also have a Facebook page for the podcast, which is facebook.com/Always Football Season.
Dang. He's everywhere. That is everywhere. Listen, okay, now you see, Brian, I'm going to do one more thing here. So we're going back to social media again. Mr. Brown, I think there's really more for you, but we had to make sure we see this comment from Mr. Turner. He wanted to make sure to say we don't want to forget talking about the Yellow Jackets, who were shellacked 73-7. We will talk about that, Mr. Football. We appreciate you for pointing that out. It's all good there. Well, Brian, listen, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, brother, and we look forward to having you back again with us real soon, sir.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. Brian Jones in the building. See, Mr. Football, good for taking some shots, man. I mean, he got to take a little shot. All right, well, Mr. Football, we're going to get back to football in a second. Got to talk a little basketball because we've been kind of off the basketball edge for a couple of weeks because we missed our savant from dropping in. All right, NBA Finals are over. Everybody's lauding LeBron, AD. Everybody once again going back talking about how great LeBron is and where does he fit in the whole GOAT conversation. All right, where do you feel LeBron fits in the pantheon of top players of all time in the NBA? Deshaun Tate.
I mean, I'd definitely say top 10. I think I like to talk about things that can't be argued.
Right.
So I definitely say top 10. I really think it's unfair and I've always been this way. I've always felt like it's unfair to compare one man's entire career where he's done versus another man who's not only still playing, but also the crazy thing to think about with LeBron James that I can't really tell you at which point have I think I've seen him at his highest peak. I don't know if that's now. I don't know if that was at the beginning when he first came in his first 5 years. I don't know if 5 years ago during the time with the Heat or whatever, what have you, or his second go round in Cleveland for that matter. But I think that's the beauty of it. I think the people who try to, I don't want to get into the MJ stuff too much. If I have to, I will. I'm not sure if that's really what, but for me, it's easily top 10. You can put him top 5. You can put him top 3 or wherever you want. I think one thing that we don't do enough of is that we don't show our appreciation for what he's doing in this game. In addition to that, you don't really see a lot of off the court issues with LeBron. We need to show some appreciation for that. In addition to that, not really taking advantage of the load management as much as we know that he could. There's a lot of wear and tear and a lot of miles on those knees. And for a guy 35 years old, that's up there for, someone who's played so much time. So I know some of those things don't really have a whole lot to do with when he puts the ball in the basket or not. But at first, I think we need to appreciate what he's meant for this game and the role model that he's certainly been off the court. I think that's
well, I mean, I think that's legit. I mean, the guy has, definitely impacted the game, and like very few others, both on the field and off the court. Certainly, being able to come in as a high schooler and basically mirror the length of time playing like Kobe, being able to play, now heading into, I think this is year number 17, and to be able to play at a high level. And also to be relatively injury free. I think that's really been the big thing with him, is that he's been able to avoid any major injuries, the kind of things that really obviously got Kobe towards the end. And, as far as the longevity, it does compare to Mike, because Mike played into his 40s. And LeBron looked like he seems like he's going to find some kind of way to hang on until he can get some team to draft Bronny so he can start playing with my son.
Yeah, and not only that, but living up to the expectations that were not only lawfully, but I don't think that anybody's had those kind of expectations coming in. And I know a lot of that is stuff that he never asked for. Yep. Putting over $1 million into his body, I think each year or each whatever, to investing. You know as well as I know, and I'm sure Mr. Brown knows, and anybody else, that the body is a temple.
Right.
Price, and he takes very, very good care of his body. And so I have to commend him for that. I'm not a LeBron lover. I'm not a LeBron hater, but I do appreciate what he has been. I don't think it's a question as to, and I definitely want to end it with this when talking about LeBron, is that I don't think it's a question that he's going to finish as the most accomplished player.
Ooh, I like that.
When it comes to the GOAT, he's probably the greatest basketball athlete that I've ever seen. Now, to call him the greatest player I've ever seen, I think it's something a little bit different. He wouldn't get the nod from me on that because I can't talk about guys I haven't seen. When it comes to the Bill Russells and some of the other guys, I can't speak on guys that I haven't seen. But I saw this man and I saw this man. And the late Kobe Bryant, I saw that man too. And these are guys that I all seen in person on TV at an old enough age to understand or overstand the game of basketball. So I can't give him the nod there. But, for the people who say that, MJ's not the GOAT, Rev, I just leave it at this, number one, LeBron wears the number on his jersey that he wears on there for a good reason. Number two, every time we have a conversation about comparing somebody to the greatest of all time, if Michael Jordan's not the greatest of all time, then why is he always the standard or the pinnacle for who we decide to measure up against? Right. And then even more so, I'm not really sure that it's much of a conversation. For the people that says that MJ isn't the GOAT, 9 times out of 10, you look down at their shoes and they're not wearing LeBron James.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, he has this is. I mean, that's really what sums it up. I mean, when you have a situation where you can't be the GOAT if you're wearing the GOAT's gear, I mean, that doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the GOAT and then where to go. Let's do this. Let's go to social media here. Mr. Turner continuing to burn up social media. But first, we're going to go to a young man who actually, we're going to talk to him a little bit later. Hopefully, we'll have our high school guys on. We call him the offensive coordinator. Mr. Hardy, Cornell Hardy chips in here. He jumps in, says, Mr. Football, how about those Brokeback Mountain Cowboys? That's a big shot there. We'll hold back on that to football time later. Mr. Football says he still loves them. And he says Barry Brown is a class act, and that I can vouch for that as well. Mr. Football takes a shot back. Mr. Hardy, he says that something about buy a suit. Lord have mercy. There we go. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to just kind of give a big shout out to Mr. Hardy is because he has been kind enough with the folks over at D&K Suit City. We're going to be offering very, very soon, or I shouldn't say offering, presenting a high school offensive player of the game. And so the winner of that award will get a $25 gift certificate from D&K Suit City. They can go over there and, you know how it is, prom time, or you get those big time awards. You need a nice shirt and a nice tie. So you'll be able to get that at D&K, courtesy, again, of D&K Suit City and Cornell Hardy, who is the manager down there. So big shout out to him and to the folks at D&K to help us out with that.
Rev, I might have to put my name in the hat for some of that, man. They got some slim sizes down there, some 30s or 32s.
Hope I can check my headset. Something wrong with the. Yeah, you're looking for some free gear? Okay, I got you. My bad.
Yeah. Go holler at him, Deshaun.
Yeah, you could. Hey man, listen, those guys. They have multiple places, but Mr. Hardy is down in the south side near us, down in Clinton County, right in the South Lake Mall area. So certainly, guys, if you yourself want some nice gear, you have a young person that wants some gear, check them out. D&K Suit City, located right there in the South Lake Plaza in Morrow, Georgia, located close to anywhere and everywhere. So again, check them out and do the do here. We can go ahead and there it is, Mr. Hardy, Mr. Turner saying that bring something there. I guess he wants to do it. Mr. Hardy says he's got everybody, so I guess we all go down there and get a suit. I guess I don't know.
Rev, I'm a slim brother, so I hope most of those places got the big and the tall and the average. Bro, I'm 150 pounds, so I need that slim cut. I need something nice. And for Mr. Football, man, I tell you what, and not to try and steal any thunder or anything crazy like that, because everybody knows what the Rev has been to me in my life, man. But I definitely got to give a little bit of credit to Football Vincent Turner, because this is the dude that gave me my first start in this business or anywhere else. So for you who always, come and introduce me and talk about some of the things that I've done, and I've just been blessed, and talk about some of the places that I've been, and I've just been blessed. But it did essentially, it all started in one place, and why a lot of people think that was maybe 92.9 The Game or elsewhere. It started with doing internet radio show, and the person that gave me my very, very first big break to even allow my voice to be heard and made me feel comfortable and kind of took me under his wing a little bit and kind of, molded me a little bit was definitely Mr. Vincent Turner. So I definitely got to show him some love, and I owe that brother. Right. I ain't got much money, but I do have some encouraging words, and definitely want to show him some love, man, because I can't even begin to explain what he's meant for me in my personal life and in my career. Appreciate you, HC Hardy.
No doubt. Well, listen, guys, we're going to take a quick station break here. We have to make sure that the link gets out to the guys at Jonesboro so they can get them on the show. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show here. Don't go away. Hopefully very, very soon we'll have some high school football input from right down here on the south side in Clinton County. Again, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show, broadcasting on all channels, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and, of course, for all the listeners on WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Hang tight.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we are back here. You listen, everybody. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you, as I mentioned, on multiple platforms on WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. That's where you can hear the audio version of the show. You also can find them at WIGOAM.com and, of course, on RealTalkSports.net. Just click the bloop, listen live button, and you'll be able to join in and listen. If you like the visual, of course, you can go to Facebook Live, which we're on right now, YouTube Live, and on Periscope. Appreciate everybody watching you on all those platforms. And I tell you, I really appreciate those of you who have allowed me to share on your various groups, because I know sometimes when you guys actually have the show pop on, it's like, hey, man, what the heck? These guys, they're not talking about SEC football, talking about something else. So I appreciate you guys letting it stay on the broadcast, because we do talk about these things during different times of the show. So we, again, just appreciate all those of you who lock it in and check us out here on the broadcast. We are seeing now in the green room guys logging on from the different high schools. So we're going to let them get set and pop on there. I can see Marcus Dunn has joined us. I can see Jeremiah Hood is in the building as well. So we're going to bring those gentlemen on in just a second as we talk a little high school football. It's really been a great challenge this year in high school football, Barry. The biggest thing has been trying to do this, trying to get high school football going, really all sports in the middle of a pandemic. Right. You really think about this. You got a lot of stuff going on, man. I mean, you got a lot of moving parts. You got guys trying to practice. You got guys trying to have games. We had a situation where a game was canceled. Matter of fact, we had 2 weeks we were out and games were canceled. So it's been really a wild ride here. But we thank God for the coaches and the teams who have decided to carry on and do what they need to do. And one of them is a team that has been a traditional power here in Clayton County. I have the head coach and some of the players from Jonesboro High School in the building. First, we're going to bring on the head coach, Coach Timothy Floyd. Coach, welcome back to the show. Letting Coach get his headset and everything set there. I think he's about ready. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you. Having a little trouble with my camera here.
With the headset, no problem. No problem there, Coach. And I see you have several of the players here, so we're going to open up the screen here so we can bring those young men on as well. I think we got Marcus Dunn in the building. We got Jeremiah Hood in the building. And we got Kanye in the building as well. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. Good to see all you guys here, man. We've enjoyed covering you guys. We are the official live stream from the Tara Stadium, so we got a chance to get you guys right out the box. Battle of the Brawl. You guys in Mount Zion got after it, man, and that's really, man, it's been amazing on YouTube. That kind of got us started. We had about 3,500 views. We had all kind of people jumping in, because what we do is we do something a little different. During the live stream broadcast, we actually will do what you're going to see here now. If someone makes a comment, we actually pop it up on the screen actually during the live broadcast. We have people shouting out, the nephews and, sons and so forth. So that's what we do each and every game. And so we're excited, man, that you guys have been, part of our stuff.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, first, let me ask you first before I ask the players. I think Coach might be getting himself set here. So, Marcus, I'm going to go to you first. What's been the biggest challenge for you, trying to play a high school football season basically in the middle of a pandemic?
It is. You got to keep yourself moving. Can't stay down. You got to keep your head up, motivated that I can get through this. Keep your body in shape and eat right, really.
Now you talk about eating right. More vegetables for you guys, more lean foods, or just have you guys always been about trying to eat right even before all this stuff really hit the fan? Have you changed the diet much since the COVID?
That's a question for everybody.
Yeah, I'll throw that for everybody. So Kanye, how about you? Have you gone to more vegetable-based, plant-based food, or what's been your story?
I mean, something that really changed is like my work ethic. Like I put in more work than I used to.
And you found for you, just keeping that activity going on has been a key for you. How do you guys, Jeremiah, I'm gonna ask you, how do you guys at the beginning, how was you able to practice, considering you really couldn't have as much kind of formal practice as you normally do? How did you guys kind of handle the practice tip?
Checking the temperatures when we walk in. We still do that. Basically, we practice like just on the track. We social distance a lot. We was on different lines. Like we would just spread it out more.
Yeah, and how hard is that during the social distance? Because, I know obviously when you guys score a touchdown, hey, you used to kind of, getting everybody high five and slapping, jumping on everyone. How tough is it to stay with social distance, man, when you have a big play, somebody gets a fumble, a big hit? How are you guys able to still do it?
You gotta do it fast.
Oh, man. That's real talk there. So, Coach, I was asking your players, man, how difficult, how challenging has it been to try to, go about your business and with all the stuff going on? So for you, practicing, what are some of the things that you've had to do differently this year to get your message to the players and get a cohesive unit out there?
It's just, just preaching to the guys. We all got to take care of ourselves so we can help take care of each other. Everybody got a responsibility, and we need everybody to just step up and take care of the responsibilities. It extends past the team and on through your home and come back to the team trying to reach its goals.
Well, that's it. I know you guys, I'm sure some of you might have, grandparents and uncles. I don't think your parents are, I'm sure they're all younger than me, but y'all might have some grandparents and some great uncles out there. I'm sure it's, again, a challenge because you're used to being with them to not really be able to see them much during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys enjoyed the fact that they have allowed at least friends and family to come to the game? Has that, because I know that like the first game, we had some fans, but it seems like as the recent games have gone on, we've had more and more fans. How has it affected you guys as far as your play on the field? Do you feel more energized to have the fans, about the same? What's been your feedback? Kanye, I go to you first.
I feel like you said.
Yeah, how's it been for you actually being able to play and actually have some real fans out there? Not too many, but at least have some people.
It feel good because you get to see the people and all the you can enjoy the hype really. Cause like if we didn't have if we didn't have fans and stuff in the stands, it'll be a dead game. Like game would be dead. It'd be like a day of practice really.
Yeah, I know it makes it hard to kind of get up when you really don't have, like you said, the fans there. But like I said, fortunately, they have let the fans come in there and be able to at least enjoy some of the game. All right, well, Coach, coming up next week, or this week, I should say, you guys got Forest Park on the docket, a team that so far hasn't done as well as I'm sure Coach would have liked from Forest Park. But what are the strong things that you look at that your team has to be ready for in facing the Panthers coming up this week?
I think number one, we got to make sure we take care of our individual responsibilities. They got a few kids that, have made some explosive plays, but just putting it all together as a team, they've kind of struggled in some areas. And it's a couple of kids that, we really got to watch out for. And they got a couple of tricky plays that, we have to make sure we stay on top of our responsibility. Their kids are playing hard and they get after it. And, we got to be able to match their intensity because I know they're excited about getting out there, especially, week to week. You really don't know if you're going to get a chance to play. So I think both teams are going to be excited to get out there and play.
And speaking of that, I'm going to go around and ask all you guys. I don't know if young Mr. Dunn can hear me well, or I know Jeremiah and Kanye can, but I'm asking each one of you guys, what did you guys feel like when you kind of heard at the last minute that you weren't being able to play Woodward Academy? Jeremiah, I'm going to go to you first.
I felt kind of hurt because, like, that means they wasn't doing what they had to do. And we was ready. It was getting it all together, and then out of nowhere, it just boom, we can't play.
Wow. And Kanye, how about you?
I was mad because I wanted to play. Like all the games getting canceled and junk. Like it's crazy.
Well, Kanye, now what position do you play?
Defensive end.
See, can I tell you something, Coach? I really knew he played defense because, see, the defensive guys be mad because they want to hit somebody. They don't care. They go out there, man, playing for them one person, two people. They want to lay the wood. They're like, hey, I don't care, man. I mean, if anytime I miss an opportunity to lay the wood to somebody, I'm not having it. So I feel you. And Jeremiah, how about you? What position do you play?
I play defensive tackle.
Okay. And Mr. Dunn, how about you? What position do you play? I think we got young Mr. Dunn on a time delay there, but anyway, but I'm glad, Coach, that you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have not had to have any cancellations or postponements due to your team. Is that correct?
That is correct. We've had some kids that had family members that were exposed, but when our kids were tested, they tested negative, and I thank God for that. And when it comes to other teams, it's just one of those things that seem to be bound to happen.
Right.
And you can be as careful as you wanna, but we just praying for everybody's safety.
Well, we are as well. So we're excited again that you guys are able to go out and be able to play. I'm let you guys know. I mean, you don't need any other incentive, and not this incentive is that big, but we are going to be announcing in the upcoming weeks a defensive player and offensive player of the game. We have the local D&K Sioux City that has a $25 gift certificate for the winner of those awards. And we hope to have some other sponsors jump in with us. Cause I know all you guys like to eat. So if I can get some restaurant gift certificates or something for you, can get a meal. Get a little shout out going on. So I'm working on it, guys. I'm working hard in the back scene trying to get that happening. Matter of fact, those of you who are listening that support high school sports, you want to support these young men, we're looking for sponsors to help us be able to give these awards out and even give something to the coach. So if you want to do that, please contact us. You can give me a call at 678-410-9833. Ask for me. I popped up there on the screen. And, we're looking for more sponsors and more people who want to contribute. Well, Barry Brown, you've done this. You've been there, done that. You guys may or may not know, but Barry up there, you can see up on the top. He's got a unique distinction. He actually played on the last Clayton County team to win a state title. Is that correct, Barry? Do I have that right?
Yes, sir. You got it right.
Played on believe it or not, playing the Morrow Mustangs. See everybody laughing. I said, Morrow, for real? I know Coach Weeks is mad. He said, why you say it like that? But so and what was that like for you? Because you had a lot of great players on that team. You had some guys that went to the NFL. Certainly back in that era, you also had guys like coming through. Speaking of Forest Park, Hines Ward later played for them a few years, I think, after you left. So what was Clayton County football like back in those days?
Oh well, the first thing, it was smaller. We only had 5 high schools back then: Morrow, Jonesboro, Riverdale, Forest Park, and we just got after it, man. A lot of people didn't know about Clayton County then, because it was outside of the city, outside of Metro Atlanta. So during those times, it seemed to be so far out. So I'm originally from Southwest Atlanta, so a lot of my friends were just like, "Oh man, you live way out there," and now Clayton County is a part of Metro Atlanta. A lot of people, they come from Atlanta now, and they live out here, and so the county, has flipped. It was predominantly white when I first came out here in the late '80s, and now the county is predominantly black. And so, man, it was just an amazing time. The community support, Terra Stadium. We only had one stadium out here at the time, Terra Stadium. Now we have 3. So it was a real tight-knit community. I mean, I had good friends who went to Jonesboro. I pretty much had good friends at all the schools. North Clayton, I think I left them out when I was naming the schools. So I had friends at every school. That's how close we were as far as, the community. And when we were doing that state championship run, man, all the schools participated. Really, they showed major love, every single one of them. And so it was just a great time. And the players that I played with, I mean, shout out to Coach Theodosian. He's no longer with us on this earth. Coach Oswald, he's no longer with us. Those were our 2 head coaches during my time at Morrow. So God bless them and their families. But they taught us how to be men, man, and they held us accountable for our actions. And so I was a 10th grader on that team. So I didn't play a lot. I was the MVP. I played on JV in the games. I practiced with varsity and I played in the JV games. And because of the work I did on JV. Just talk about work ethic. I was 100. Man, I might have been 130 pounds, maybe 5'7", 5'6", and I just took the opportunity to go out there and work hard, and that was the reason they put me on varsity, because they saw the work I was putting in the weight room, on the track, and just showing up for all the meetings on time, and that allowed me to get some shine, and because of the work I did on JV, they actually let me play in the state championship game. I had one. Hey fellas, Jeremiah, Kanye, Marcus, check this out. Marquez, check this out. Because of the work I did on JV that year, my sophomore year when I played on varsity and JV, they actually gave me 1 carry and I got 1 yard in the state championship game because of that work, my brother. So, you know what I'm saying? So got the ring, got everything, all the stuff that came with it, got the MVP award for JV, and then the next year walked into the varsity as a starter, preseason, all county, the whole 9. And I played in 2 games as a 10th grader, and I walked in as an all county preseason performer, going into my junior year, and then in the rest is history. Went on my senior year, led the region in interceptions with 8, and because of my academics and my athletic play, ended up getting a scholarship to go continue my career in college at Presbyterian College up in Clinton, South Carolina. So, hey man, having a team, playing with great players, playing under great coaches, and listening to them and doing what your teachers and your counselors and everything are asking you to do in the classroom and in the school community. Hey man, anything can happen for you. I'm living proof of it. Graduated from high school, 5'8", 146 pounds, and still got a scholarship to go play college football.
Hey Barry, can I tell you something? Can I say this? Every time you mention your weight, you got to remember you got all defensive guys on here. Them guys are looking like, oh, man, if he come out here today, we get him. I mean, soon you mention it, I see Kanye go like this. He's leaning back in his chair. And, Jeremiah like, oh, man, we get him. Dude, listen, they'll be waiting for you, man. What's his name?
I play defense, man. I play quarterback. I played free safety my junior year, and I played cornerback my senior year. So, hey, I'm on the same side of the ball with him. I'm like Kanye. I'm bad at the game. I'm trying to bump his head. Hey, matter of fact, Coach Floyd, you'll appreciate this. Matter of fact, at my size, my nickname is Boom because I tried to take people's heads off so much. They call me Boom. I didn't know I was too small, Minister, until I got to college. And I'm back there with all the DBs and everybody, at least pretty much 4 to 5 inches taller than me, and they outweighed me by at least 30 pounds, all the DBs. So I'm like, oh man, I might have should have went and played baseball or something.
I'm gonna put the pressure on our DBs now. We met this guy named Boone. Now he wasn't but 5'2", 120 pounds. He laid a week on you.
Hey, let him know, Coach. Let him know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, I appreciate you guys because I know you guys have to use it literally. And for those people watching, these young men and the coaches, I want to let you know this for them. This is like extra work because they have to practice late, so they literally leave practice. Okay, before they go home and get that grub on, they come on the show, so we appreciate them. Well, before you guys go, I do want to let you meet this young man here. You guys heard me say earlier that we're going to start a program. We're going to have Offensive Player and Defensive Player of the Week. Well, the guy that is helping to sponsor the Offensive Player of the Week is in the building. We call him the Offensive Coordinator, Coach Cornell Hardy. You in the building, sir? Coach, are you there? I think
he can't hear you.
No, he can't hear you. Coach, you need to put them headsets on, bro. Yeah, I'm about to give some instruction on how to do these Zoom-like calls. Number one, get in the light.
Doing, man?
There he is.
What's up, man? Y'all hear me?
What's up, Hardy?
Y'all hear me?
Yes, we hear you good now, brother. Mm-hmm.
The headset
yeah, we got you.
Hold on. Let me see.
All right, can you hear us good now?
There you go.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good. Can you hear us?
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Do y'all hear me? Okay.
You about to fire the brother. Okay.
My bad, man. I just got off work, man, and when I was on my way, I was on the expressway, and I got the missus, man. You got to take care of the missus.
Yes, sir.
I got the missus. Got to take care of the missus, man. Y'all hear me? Yeah, man.
Well, the young guys, they right now, they probably take care of mom right now. They worry about the missus later.
Okay.
They probably just take care of mom, make sure she's straight. Well, listen, Coach Hardy, real quick, these young men, like I said again, they gotta get to. We can hear you now. Just tell these young men a little bit about what you're gonna do for them. Okay.
He can't hear you. Hey, let me tell him about Cornell right quick. That's one of my former teammates. So he went to Morrow too. We the class of 1990, and so that's one of the young man that the minister is talking about. He's one of the fastest guys that ever played at Morrow High School right there, Cornell Hardy. So this is what I want to do. I want to offer this to Coach Floyd. We do a lot of work with Morrow and everything. COVID-19 has slowed us down tremendously, but I want to go ahead and make sure we do this. We can do it by Zoom, or we can do some kind of social distance thing in person, Coach Floyd.
I hear you, man.
But we want to come and talk to you guys. Me and Mr. Hardy, we'll get the rest of our team, and we'll come over there and speak with you guys. Like I say, either online or in person. And I'll do this too right here on behalf of the Student Athlete Playbook, Student Athlete Achievement Program, and our nonprofit organization, Youth Education and Sports. Minister, go ahead and put it down on paper. We'll give away a book and a journal every week. Whoever you choose, we'll give that out every week as well. We'll go ahead and commit to that right now to do that.
Well, we appreciate you on that, bro. And we also want to do this before we let the young man go. I noticed that Coach has his FCA hat on. Just want to give a big shout out to Mike Roby, the guy that is over the South Side down there, South Metro. Straight up guy, good Christian brother. We also want to give a big shout out to some of the guys at Urban FCA. We certainly want to give them their due over there as well. Tremendous job. What everybody's doing with the FCA, man, just great stuff. And I'm just proud, man, to be a part of all of what you guys have going on and everything that you guys are doing. And it's important that you guys are building your character as young men, as well as building your toughness on the field as well. Because at the end of the day, at some point, I know it seems strange to think about it, but y'all, good Lord willing, will be old like us. and you can't. And look, Kanye said, "Well, that ain't tomorrow, sir. So I got a ways to go." But yeah, we do it. But again, all this kind of stuff though, it helps you in everything that you do. I mean, the way you guys attack it on the football field, your discipline, all those things. When you're not playing football, even when you're just off the field, all that stuff, man, helps you be better workers, better sons, better brothers. Anytime you can discipline the inner man, Coach will tell you, of course I'm sure he does tell you, that carries you a long way, man. Long way.
Exactly.
So, again, we appreciate you, Coach Hardy. We appreciate you making that available. Like I said, again, you guys will be going to D&K Suit City. We're going to award an Offensive Player of the Year. Of course, since Coach Hardy was offensive coordinator, that will be his bailiwick. Barry will be giving out the books as well. And we are searching for a sponsor to do something for the Defensive Player of the Week. Hopefully you guys, a restaurant out there, because defenders like to eat.
Yeah.
So y'all need to come on and do the good thing. All right, Coach, listen, we're excited about, again, what you guys are doing. Again, coming up at Forest Park this Friday night. We will be live streaming the game live, so tell your family and friends to tune in to Real Talk Sports. We do bring the comments up off of social media. So if they give you a shout out, we will put it right up there. They want to put your number up, shout the school out. We probably had about 150 people from Jonesboro. I couldn't even keep up. I mean, they were firing so fast on YouTube, I couldn't even do it, man. It was just like incredible. So, tell them to come on back again. And we'd love to, kind of put your names out there and look forward for us giving you guys some Player of the Week kudos as we come up to the rest of the season. So, Coach, appreciate you, all the guys from Jonesboro High School. And before we let you go here, I'm trying to get my cameraman. We got a sideline cameraman now, guys. So if you see him, I'm going to let you pop him on the screen. Jason, are you there?
I am, yes. Great to be
all right.
On the Talk Sports Show
so if you see this bearded guy running behind you with a mask on, that's Jason. Don't knock him over, because he's going to be allowing us to actually give us some live stream broadcasting from down on the sidelines. So look forward to seeing him running behind you. You give him a shout out. He'll stop. We'll do like Fox 5, High Five Sports. So, I mean, don't overdo it, because we got to concentrate on the game. But you see him running by, you give him a shout out, and we'll put you right on the screen.
Man, I'm the get back coach, so if I catch the elbow, it was an accident.
So you already know. Well, look, guys, we appreciate you here. Speaking of social media, we're going to go to social media real
Mr.
quick here. We
Simmons.
got some comments there. Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Somebody called me. Go ahead.
That was Mr. Hardy, coordinator.
All right.
I think he lost you.
All right, we're going to go to social media. I told you they love you. They love you on YouTube. Michael Glover, big shout out, coach, to you and the squad.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to show you guys. That's how it looks during the broadcast. So basically, what happened is right during the shot, once we have a timeout, we go right to social media so people, like I say again, your family and friends can shout you out, can shout out to school. So Michael Glover, he did that last time we had you guys on. He was all over YouTube. I thought he was going to break the screen. So again, we appreciate all you guys, man. And we look forward to having you guys on next week. And Jason, we look forward to having you down the sideline. You heard the get back coach told you now, so you better be careful when you go by Coach Floyd.
Right. Well, we'll be on the scene wherever we can on the sidelines at Friday night. Real Talk Sports Game of the Week. So looking forward to getting you guys on our highlight reel that we're doing.
And Jason, the other thing too, you have some highlights. So guys, that's the other thing. At the end of each week, Jason gonna compile together some highlights on some of the big plays. So look forward to that on YouTube as well.
And we're showing coaches too. We get the coaches on the sidelines. You know, you guys are doing your thing, coaches. So we'll be doing that as well as the players. So coach highlights as well.
All right.
All right, everybody. All right, the Jonesboro Cardinals. All right, guys. Look forward to seeing you square off against the Panthers on Friday. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. That was the Jonesboro contingent there, and we're very, very thankful for all those guys that dropped in on the broadcast. And we're going to take a quick station break, and then we'll come back because lurking in the wings, we have the guy who is the number one man you need to hear and see when you're talking Atlanta football. You know what I'm talking about. The guy who covers the Falcons for the AJC Sports, D. Orlando Ledbetter's in the building. So you got to keep it locked right here. And also, we want to sign off to all those of you who are listening on WIGO. We go off in the 9 o'clock hour. We say as we do each and every week from WIGO, God bless you and have a great night. All right, everybody.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, and we are back here. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show and watching the Real Talk Sports Show on every single platform we can think of here. We're on YouTube Live, we're on Facebook Live, we're on Periscope, which is Twitter TV, and of course, we are also on RealTalkSports.net. We have in the building here our good friend Barry Brown, who runs the Student Athlete Playbook. Our cameraman on the sidelines, you'll be seeing more of him, Jason Hunnigan, and of course, the guy who knows more about the Falcons than anybody else, the embedded beat writer for the Falcons for AJC Sports. He also is a professor and teacher at colleges here in the area, and Esquire par excellence, the guy in the fedora and the bow tie. D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D. Led, welcome back, sir.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Simmons, for having me on Real Talk Sports. Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, we're excited to have you on, especially because this week we actually saw a Falcons victory. So we could talk about the good things the Falcons did instead of constantly dwelling on the mistakes. So, D-Led, what was your takeaway? What were kind of the key points to that Falcons victory in your mind?
I think it was the turnovers, getting 3 turnovers in the first half, and sticking with the run game. You know, they weren't getting a lot of yards, but, they were able to play keep away and get, 40 minutes of the time of possession, 40 minutes and 7 seconds. That does 2 things. You keep you moving. You keep your defense off the field too. And the defense was doing pretty good until they had them at 215 total yards with 7:07 to go in the game. Then they give up 2 late touchdowns to make their numbers look really bad. So they didn't close out the game again, but they did enough to hold on for the victory.
And speaking of that, how important was it for the offense we got basically what we've always looked for. We got basically double digits in points every quarter. 10 in the first, 10 in the second, 10 in the third, and 10 in the fourth. How important was it for the offense to keep scoring, to kind of keep them at bay throughout that game?
That was very important, Reverend. They it was 12 possessions in the game. They scored on 8 of them. So if you do that most Sundays, you're going to be in pretty good shape. And one of the possessions was a kneel down at the end. So really 8 of 11 possessions. Yeah, you don't want to get 4 field goals and 4 touchdowns, but hey, 6 and 2 would be even better. But they scored two touchdowns on 4th down, had long drives, big plays. Did it in a variety of ways. The tight end had a long one. Julio had a long one where it was kind of an ad-lib, broken play thing. So they did do it in a lot of different ways. But a lot of that was possible because they stayed with the running game, even though they only averaged 2.8 yards a carry.
Well, that's it. I think that's a big key. We're going to go to social media for just a minute. Jason, someone who has seen your work wants to give you a shout out. Good friend of mine from the Washington, D.C. area has watched many of your videos, and she says you, sir, do amazing work with us. So just want to let you know that there are people watching the good work that you do for Real Talk Sports.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to continue to give the best coverage possible for Real Talk Sports, and always glad to see some fans right there. So our job is to be on the team to tell that story of the event, capture that event, and I'm glad people are watching, and that we can actually, give you that perspective what it's like to be on the scene at the event.
No doubt, yeah. So, D-Led, what we're trying to do is expand our coverage for high school football. We actually now have Jason to be a cameraman on the sidelines, and so we're going to be bringing him into the broadcast during the games. We've also allowed an interactive system so we can bring some fan response during the game. So we're going to try to expand what we do during high school coverage, especially since we really can't do much with the Falcons on the field. Or we want to definitely try to show the young guys on the high school perimeter that we love them too.
Well, that's awesome to hear, Reverend. The kids are out there working hard, and I'm sure they will enjoy the additional coverage.
And you've been a big booster both for high school and college. I'm gonna get back to Falcons talk in just a second. I really want to talk to you about that 4th down play for Matt and Julio. But just tell people a little bit some of the stuff that you do as a professor to help these young people really get an actual hands-on in terms of sports journalism.
Well, I teach up at the University of Georgia at the Grady School of Journalism. I've been my 5th year there. I got to actually go over the applications for the next class before the 26th here. But before that, I taught at Clark Atlanta University for 6 years, from 06 to about 2015. So about 9 years at Clark Atlanta University in the Mass Media Arts Department. But got several kids, and they're not kids anymore, grown folks out in the business, from folks at ESPN to folks working for the Buffalo Bills, LA Rams, folks out in California covering the Angels. So just been hands-on, helping the kids, get into the journalism and sports field.
Well, guys, we're going to put it out there again. Obviously, if you have a college student and they're going to University of Georgia, certainly look out for Professor Ledbetter. He will give you real hands-on experience. I've seen their guys at the games. So your young Chargers actually get a chance to go to the games. And we're going to put it out here on Real Talk Sports. We're looking for spotters. We're looking for camera people. We're looking for production people and people who could even be our sideline reporters. So if you have a young person out there that has an interest in sports talk radio, sports talk TV, give us a call, 678-410-9833. You can ask for me, and we would love to talk to you about, bringing your young people on to be a part of our broadcast. All right, D, let's go back to now a little Falcons talk. We had a 4th down play. Falcons are ahead comfortably at this point, 23-7, and they decide now to try to, I guess, to some degree, throw a knockout. 3rd quarter, the play that Mac makes, how important was that in terms of really cementing this game for a Falcons win?
It was very important, Reverend, because earlier in the losses at Dallas and then at home against Chicago, they stopped scoring. So, three and out contributed to, Chicago being able to come back. 3 and outs in Dallas, there's no onside kick if they keep the ball and keep moving, keep scoring points. So, That was a very important third down. Got flushed out of the pocket. Looked like he could have ran for it. Looked like he was almost across the line, and the defense committed to him. And then he backed up, and Julio knew to take off at that point. So, I mean, they probably done that in practice 10,000 times, and decided to do it in a game, and it worked out to their benefit. And Julio gets a great stiff arm on the linebacker, Eric Wilson, to, let him know, hey, I'm getting into the end zone right here, bro. So, you got to take this. And he skipped on into the end zone and, had a big play, second touchdown the other day. And then he started doing the stir it up, mix it up thing.
Time to eat, baby.
Yeah. So that was a big time play. They needed it. The team's playmakers got to make plays. That's what Raheem Morris was telling them in his meetings last week. He's like, hey, y'all the playmakers, make some plays. And they did.
Well, Barry, you're like me. You're an aficionado of seeing the quarterback not being, a stiff board. How excited were you to see Matt Ryan make a couple of, not again, earth-shattering runs, but a couple of runs to want to get a first down, one to extend the play, to pick up a few yards. So they had, I think, a third and short, and of course the play that D-Led just talked about that led to a touchdown.
Yeah, it's like this, Minister. Matt Ryan is the best quarterback the Atlanta Falcons organization has ever had, bottom line. So when he's protected, when he feels confident, when he knows that he's not going to get splattered on the ground, he can play like he played on Sunday. I mean, he's proved that over and over again. So one of the things that I've been frustrated on is that fact that they have not protected him like they should have protected him. They got these young guys on the line, and what we're seeing right now is an offensive line that's developing. So if they can develop and continue to stay healthy and continue to protect Matt Ryan, then we'll see him play at an MVP level like we've seen him play for the majority of his career. So I'm happy with what he did on Sunday. If Julio can stay healthy and that young receiving core can continue to develop, hey, man, they can go on a run, and we might be shocked at the end of the season. I don't know. But I'm happy that Dan Quinn is gone. I think they need another voice, like I mentioned at the beginning of the season when we were talking about it, and now it's here. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But that was definitely encouraging this past Sunday.
And Jason, how about you? Because I know in the past you've been a season ticket holder. I don't know if you can still hear me. What do you think about the Falcons win on Sunday? Yep, I think Jason is in the free screen here, so we're actually going to take him out of there. I think he's gone to Never Never Land. Amen. But anyway, let's go to social media and see what some of the comments are there. We got the offensive coordinator, Mr. Hardy. Let's see what he has to say. Bam. He says, because of the connection between Morris and McKay with Tampa Bay organization, he said many years ago, he said, do you think that if Morris wins, that they will keep him as the head coach? And D-Led, I think that question is for you. So based on that relationship, do you think that Raheem has got an inside track on keeping that job?
Well, they're not from the same branch of the Tampa Bay experience.
Okay.
Gruden hires Raheem. Gruden gets McKay fired. So, yeah, they're not from the same. Gruden came in and took over, and McKay was part of the old regime, the Tony Dungy, the player that got the players that Gruden won the Super Bowl with. So Gruden brings in Raheem. So they're not. There's no allegiance to Raheem from Tampa, from McKay, because they're from two different parts of that regime. So
gotcha.
So he's got to win, and the owner pretty much said he got to go 11-0. But I mean, if he goes 9-2, 7, and the players are playing, they think they got talent. Then if they do got talent, then they'll win some games. So if he wins 7, I think they're going another direction. Raheem does a good job here. He's a candidate for the New York Jets job. He's from Newark, New Jersey, Irving.
Yep.
He went to Hofstra at Hempstead, where the Jets used to practice at. That's where Herman Edwards found him as a potential NFL coach. So he makes a lot of sense, more sense for the New York Jets. He's working for that job, I think, not the Atlanta job.
And speaking of the Atlanta job, I know obviously we're way, way, way too early, but it's from your view, who would be some of the candidates that either you would like to see or kind of should be on our radar?
Well, certainly Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs is on our radar. But if I'm Eric, I got Deshaun Watson and a young roster, Matt Ryan and an older roster. Hey, I'm gonna probably try to go to Houston. But I mean, I love to have him here. He's a good friend of mine. So, but right now, the way things stand, we don't know the other 3 jobs that are going to come open. The Jets for sure, maybe Detroit. But those jobs don't have the quarter. You got to have a quarterback, and then you get to pick your GM. So I'm thinking he probably want to go to Deshaun Watson. Matter of fact, Deshaun's already been asking for Eric Bieniemy. So that's one. But Lincoln Riley's another name. You got Byron Leftwich down in Tampa Bay. Then you got the regular old Matt Eberfloss in Indianapolis. Josh McDaniels, who walked out on the Colts. But do you want to go Patriots again? Patriots and pair him with a Patriot person. He got a Dimitrov all over again. And a lot of the Patriot coaches haven't done anything, once they left Bill Belichick. So I don't know if you want to go Josh McDaniels at this point. But, yeah, those are some of the names that we're going to hear. Do you want a college coach? The college coach thing's working in Arizona right now. So maybe you go to Oklahoma and, back up the Blankmobile and get Lincoln Riley out of there. So
he said the Blankmobile. Let's go back. Let's go back to social media. So speaking of Eric Bieniemy, our offensive coordinator, Mr. Hardy, thinking, what do you think about the idea of Pioli coming back to Atlanta and maybe bringing Bieniemy with him?
I don't like the, I would, Scott didn't do a good job in Kansas City. So I don't really, his track record's not there. A guy like Jerry Reese would be more interesting to me, who was part of 2 Super Bowl conglomerations in New York with the Giants. I don't know why he doesn't have a job right now. Jerry Reese, Louis Riddick. Pioli would be a good hire, quality hire. And I'm sure he would he learned from his first time around, some of the things to do and not to do. But I don't know any connection between him and Eric that would lead him to be here. Eric Bieniemy and Reggie McKenzie ticket would work. Reggie McKenzie's with the Dolphins. He was the executive of the year with the Raiders. And they both happen to be my frat brothers, and they know each other already. So we would have the Qs basically coming to Atlanta.
See, that's the real story right there. That's the real story behind all of that.
Yeah, that would be the team, and then I'd have probably some great access, and wouldn't have to put up with the PR folks too much. Just call my guys like, hey, what we doing this weekend? What's the play?
What we got going on?
Yeah.
So the other question is, speaking of coaches with ties, so the offensive coordinator wants to ask the question, how about somebody who maybe was part of the Falcons, maybe somebody that as like a native of Georgia, maybe a guy that's had some experience like Ken Wisenhurt, that's a name he tossed out there as well. What do you think? He's part. I think Wisenhurt is kind of funny. He's had some success, but maybe not as much as people expected from him.
Yeah, Ken has been one of the best coaches in the league for a long time. Didn't win big when he got a shot. I believe he was a candidate when Coach Smith got the job too.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they want something with a little bit more sizzle. Somebody, they gotta sell seats. The fans have gone away. The folks are defaulted on their PSLs. They gotta get the tire right. So they gotta get the building back buzzing again. They gotta get the team in the right track. And Wisenhut, I like him. He's a great coach. That would make a lot of good sense. But I don't know what the sizzle factor is on that one.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, did he not lead the Cardinals to the Super Bowl? Was he the head coach?
He was the OC, I believe.
OC. Okay, got you. All right, there we go. Well, look, guys, we want everybody to hang right tight here.
He was the head coach. Haley was the OC.
Got you. We want to give a big shout out, of course, to our sponsors for high school football. And you can see there it's Allan, Vigil, Ford, and Lincoln. We appreciate them so much. And speaking of that, I have to give myself a shameless plug. You guys keep it locked right here. We're going to take a quick little commercial break. And I'll show you what the minister does to make a living. Hang tight. Nothing better than the sound of diesel in the morning. And what better place to get high horsepower diesel than the all-new 2020 Ford F-250, now with 475 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. You know where to get it? From me, the minister, Jonathan Simmons at Allan, Vigil, Ford Commercial Sales. Because you know why? I'm the commercial truck guy in a shirt and tie. So bottom line, guys, if you or your friends or your family or your business need a vehicle, you can come see WAP. That's right. The minister is in the car business, work for Allan, Vigil, Ford, and Lincoln. We have a full complement of brand new Fords and Lincolns and a whole host of pre-owned cars. Every make and model that you guys know and love, Toyota, Honda. We even have luxury cars, Lexus, BMW. So if you need something in the way of wheels to get you around Metro Atlanta in style and affordability, contact me, the minister, 678-410-9833. Let me pop it up on the screen one more time. There it is. Give me a call, 678-410-9833, and I will be more than happy to take care of your needs over there at Allan, Vigil, Ford, and Lincoln, who is our gold level sponsor for high school football. Appreciate Mr. Vigil for all he does for us. All right, let's get back to talking some football. So, yeah, I think that, you have to kind of look at a situation where you're bringing somebody in that's got some pop. And the realities are, first of all, even if you wanted to move Matt Ryan, you can't. From what I understand, D-Led, I think you mentioned before, some of the guys you talked to do the salary cap says it would be impossible to do anything with him for at least another 2 years. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, the whole three, really. They him and Julio go towards 2023. Now, the only thing you could do is trade him and restructure his deal. But teams are, the season's going on. That's more an off-season thing. We do have a trade deadline coming up on the 3rd, but McKay said they're not going to fire sale it. So San Francisco makes a whole lot of sense to me. I know Shanahan doesn't really like Garoppolo that much, but they're trying to get him to play better. But Matt went to the Super Bowl, won MVP under Shanahan. But their salary cap tight. I don't think Matt's gonna take a pay cut to go to San Francisco. So he's your quarterback. Get him some help, and they committed to him. So let's go.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly.
T.I. needs to apologize. I want an apology from T.I. He owes Matt Ryan an apology.
Well, and D-Led, you and I have talked about this before, and I always want to go online. So I'm not necessarily looking for a running quarterback, but I still go with this. When Matt Ryan runs the ball, not strictly out of fear, but when he runs the ball, maybe once or twice to try and escape the rush, but the other 2 times on the program run, the Falcons are a much more difficult team to handle. In the game on Sunday, I think he had 4 carries, and he did exactly what I want a quarterback to do. I don't need him to run, like Lamar Jackson. What I need him to do is one play, I think he got a first down, about a 6 or 7 yard run. Another play picked up 3 or 4 to give them a manageable 3rd down. And, of course, the magnificent scramble, take a step forward, salsa move to throw the touchdown pass to Julio. That's all I need. I don't need him to get out here running around, but I do need him to be at least a threat for the defense to think, hey, if we just all go a man defense and turn our backs, this guy might be able to pick up a first down.
Yeah, I hear you, Reverend. But what I want is the interior of the pocket to be firm.
Absolutely.
Guards, they whenever they've gotten that right, when they had Frank, when they had the mud duck in there holding it down, and they had some guards, he could step into his throat. Absolutely. When he's on the run, his ball he doesn't have the power in his ball to throw it as accurately and as hard when he can't step into his throat. I want the pocket firm. I don't care what it costs. Drafted Lindstrom, and I saw him get jacked up in the air against the Green Bay by Zadarius Smith. I didn't like that. James Carpenter, I saw him miss a stunt. He's been in the league 10 years. He can't miss the stunt. And so when Matt can step into his throws, they go to the playoffs. When they can't step into the throws, they are the 7-9, 8-9, 9-7. So I don't really need to see him run, but I don't really need. I want to watch somebody run, I'm gonna go watch Arizona because that little kid is dazzling.
Yeah, he is.
Last night. But yeah, just for Matt, we don't need him to run. We need his pocket firm because he's gonna cut you up. Because he knows water, he can make all the throws and he can read defense.
Absolutely. That's it. Yeah, he's not an athletic quarterback.
Nah, we don't need him running.
Yeah, he's not an athletic quarterback. Matter of fact, it pains me to see him run. That's what happened to me.
I think he'll get hurt. That's why in that second game when he didn't run, I understood. I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. They don't need to get your shoulder blown up. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we gotta leave that alone. Yeah.
All right, so you guys are basically telling me go sit down somewhere. That's what I hear. I hear that. I hear the.
No, we were respectful about it, though.
No, you were, but basically it was like, hey, up. But actually, at the end of the day, and again, I'm agreeing with you. I obviously don't want to see Matt running around. I don't want to see what happened to him. I think it was either it wasn't the Super Bowl year. It might have been a year after that. He got blown up, and I get it. Ball fumbled. It must have went about 100 yards in the air. Same like so. You're right. I don't want to see the guy be a sitting duck. But what I do want that if in fact pocket clean, we're playing against a good defensive team, the defensive backs have not given him a lane, that he can say, you know what, I can safely run 4 yards and slide and get a first down, or I can do a quarterback sneak to pick up a 3rd and 1. That's all I need. I don't need any. You're right. I don't want to see him run around because sometimes he looks a little awkward out there. But I will say this though, when he does run and he does make a play, it sends a certain amount of energy to the team. I mean, if you watch these guys, they're like jump up and down, like Matt, gave a stiff arm. So that's all. I just want to see the occasional, every now and then, just the occasional.
I can live with that, Minister.
You can live with that, okay? All right, well, D-Led, so now, what do we got next week coming up? I guess we play the Lions. The only buzz I hear about them, I guess they're going to be wearing, their color rush uniforms are gradient. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. But going against the Lions, what's kind of the thing that the Falcons need to do to keep this winning streak going against Detroit?
Well, thank you. I just finished the Both Our Chronicles podcast I'm going to have up in the morning, and I was breaking down Detroit. They run the ball. They're trying to run the ball with Adrian Peterson, DeAndre Swift, and Kerryon Johnson. Swift is coming off of his first 100-yard game. Matthew Stafford, they're trying to control him from, being wild Matt Stafford and throw another team the ball. He's got 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So, that's what they're going to do. Kenny Galladay is the wide out. TJ Hawkinson's the tight end. Marvin Jones is upset. He's not getting a rock. So, hey, whoever's got Marvin Jones, just lock him up because he's trying to go off. So that's the offense. And defensively, they signed True Font, but he's been hurt, and they've been playing young corners. So True Font hurt his hamstring in the opener, missed 2 games, came back against the Saints, then aggravated it, and he missed last week. So I don't know if he's going to play this week. We'll just stay on top of that throughout the week. I'll give him a call tomorrow and try to get an update for us. And Trey Flowers is the game wrecker, the defensive end. He'll be on Jake Matthews. So we might have to give Jake some help because Trey could mess the whole thing up for you. Their linebackers are slow, so you should be able to get some action on the linebackers and pass into the running backs and so forth. So I like to see some Edo Smith in space here against the Lions linebackers and so forth. So, I didn't really get into the special teams yet, but that's a good breakdown of the offense and the Lions defense. Of course, Matt Patricia, who they fired Jim Caldwell, who's getting them to the playoffs and bringing this guy. He's 11, 25, and 1. So, they get what they deserve for firing Coach Caldwell.
And speaking of Coach Caldwell, there's an interesting name here that no one ever seemed to talk about. But here's a guy that took over for Tony Dungy, kept that Colts team humming with Peyton Manning. And, a lot of people got mad, but, that he didn't do it. But he was a guy that had their team on route to a perfect season. So seems like he's a great offensive coordinator, great offensive mind. Would he be a fit here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think Coach Jim was a candidate when Coach Smith got the job. He's a little bit older now. I follow his career. He's from Beloit, Wisconsin. One of my first college games was at Wake Forest. back covering Wake Forest versus Davidson for the Charlotte Observer, long time ago.
Wow.
He went on to be the head coach there. Yeah, Coach, he spoke at Morehouse one year, and it's been real. I always had you would have to have talks with him about being so stringent with the media, because he was one of those guys that the media get in the way of the coverage. And I just asked him politely, "Hey, we need a little bit more, cooperation from you and your staff with the media up in Indianapolis." But he's the capo, good man. Might be a little, he's an older gentleman, but he'd be a good candidate. Another one, is Terry Robinski.
Right, because he was here. Terry he was here.
He could come in and command that locker room, and we'll have a dynamite coaching staff. So Terry Robinski would be another name to keep an eye on. Should be worthy of the interview. Of course, he's a little older too, but so is Bruce Arians and Coach Mac Brown that went back to North Carolina. He's a little older, so maybe the older guy trend may be the way to go.
Well, especially guys that seem to understand how to operate and still relate. I mean, because to Coach Mac Brown's credit, I remember he was here a couple of years ago before he had the job. I guess he was with ESPN. He was here for the college football championship. And, I mean, the guy was just very engaging even on the air. So, I mean, either you have it or you don't. I mean, to me, right. It's bottom line is if you do or you do not. And, certainly me now, I got a 6 starting on my age. I'm off of the OGs getting spots. I'm off of that, buddy. I mean, so I'm like, that's really what you want. We want someone here that's going to be able to bring some energy. We want a guy here that's going to be able to relate. And I really don't care what age the guy is. I mean, as long as the players will play for him, not say they like you, but play for you.
I would love to see a Terry Robinski team and how tough that team would be.
He got some fire, buddy.
Yeah. I would love to see that, because if you ain't producing, he get rid of him.
That's right.
You getting the highway, you hitting the highway. So
right. That's what. Hey, yes, sir. That's what I thought professional sports was about, D. I thought that's what it was about. Hey, if you don't produce, they find your replacement real quick.
The NFL is usually like that. There's no guaranteed contracts in the NFL, Barry. So, if you're not getting it done, you got to go.
Exactly. So I'm cool with that. And Minister, I think you hit on something with the OGs. When you get these older coaches, it's a little bit no nonsense with these guys. And the key for them is getting the young assistants and training the assistants, because they can relate to all the players.
Right.
So you just train them on your philosophy and the schematic process of coaching, and hey, you might have yourself a winner right there. So I'm like you, they're just finding the right fit for what we're trying to do, and let's get them in here, and let's turn this thing around here in Atlanta with the Falcons. So I'm cool with Robinski. I like that. I like y'all brought that name up. I would have never thought of that name.
Me neither. Well, that's why we have D led on, sir. I mean, that's it, because he's going to bring up the stuff that we're for real. Offensive coordinator, he's like definitely talking about Robinski, how he could develop the players, and did the same thing, I guess, when Malarkey was the OC back then. And again, prime example, Tom Coughlin with the Giants. Yeah, because you talk about an OG with an old hire. Oh my gosh!
You come 5 minutes. You better be 5 minutes early for the meeting.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's old school.
When we would have conference calls with him, you better be there at 10:55 if it was 11 o'clock, because he gonna be 5 minutes early.
No doubt.
I love it.
Well, as always, the time has rocketed by. We're at the 9:30 hour. So, gentlemen, you know how we do it here when you come on the Real Talk Sports Show. We want everybody to know how they can find out more about you, website, social media. So, D. Orlando Ledbetter, you are on the clock.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at TheOrlandoAJC. You can also find us on our Facebook page, Atlanta Falcons News Now. Of course, AJC.com is our website with all of our digital products, the Bowtie Chronicles podcast, the Cover 9 at 9 blog every Wednesday at 9, and all our stories throughout the week on the Atlanta Football Falcons.
There you go, guys. That's right. So you know what to do. If you want to know anything about the Falcons, check out that man, D. Orlando Ledbetter, because he's going to bring it to you. And he's going to bring it to you straight because he's a real journalist.
That's right.
Just so you know. All right, Barry Brown.
Yes,
You're
sir.
on.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, definitely thank you for having me on tonight. The minister is always a pleasure being with you and talking to these great people that you have on the show. So shout out to Deshaun, to the whole Jonesboro, Coach Floyd over there, and those young men that we had tonight. Definitely deep Orlando Ledbetter. And my man Cornell Hardy tonight, and your man Jason that's going to be on the sidelines with you on high school football. But you can find us, the Student Athlete Achievement Program, Youth Education and Sports Team. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Student Athlete Playbook. You can go to youtheducationandsports.org, and you can also visit studentathleteplaybook.org, and you can connect with us, get all the materials that you need. And hey, and we are doing free virtual sessions with your high school teams, no matter what sport it is. We'll do it virtually on Zoom or whatever platform that you use. We're here to help you and help them get ready for the next level. Character matters.
There it is right there, guys. Well, we got to go to social media one last time before we get off here. Speaking of Coach Hardy, he points out the fact that the main thing is that we are now dealing with, quote unquote, the millennial athlete. And obviously, if they hire the wrong coach, it's not going to work out well. And all that being said, the bottom line is, if you can coach, you can coach. Nick Saban, I think, just turned 66 or 67. All right. And if you look at some of those outtakes, when he had to put it out there and let you know, outtakes of him busting a move in these people's houses, you go over there and do a visit, Nick getting the get down. And you're thinking to yourself, is that the Nick Saban? Yeah. Right. But what that's telling you is that he understands the importance of communication. And that's really what it is. If I go and watch, I'm not going to say that D-Led's going to bust a move with those kids, but at the end of the day, those kids are laser focused on what he's saying, because he's explaining to them in a way that's easy to understand, and he's doing the one thing that millennials I found dealing with them, they want to have. They want to have actual application, whatever you tell them. Mm-hmm. And the fact that D-Led brings those kids he's got them there in the press box and pointing out different ways to watch and chronicle the game and making sure that they're writing their story as the game goes on. Now, sometimes you have to change it, but that's all, to me, that's all millennials really want. They don't want you to talk to them or at them. They want you to show them in real time that what you're saying has got some bite. And if you can do that, man, I don't care if you're 90. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, a couple of years ago, I went to an Atlanta Touchdown Club luncheon. Mm-hmm. And their guest speaker has been there a couple of times. I had a chance to interview him both times. Legendary head coach Bobby Bowden. All right. Oh, yeah. Now, Bobby Bowden stood up and said something that I was stunned to hear. He said, yeah, so I play a lot more golf now. And he says, as a matter of fact, I'm celebrating my 90th birthday. And when I interviewed him, he looked at me, he says, hey, man, can you believe it? I'm 90.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But this was a guy that understood that you just continue to proceed on, and he was always a guy that was willing to extend himself, to learn, to and to be very willing to interact with all kinds of people. Yeah. And that's really what the key is. I think that whoever the Falcons get as a coach, I think if they can do that, they're going to do well. And I think the other thing, too, is if they can build on one thing that Dan Quinn did very well, and D-Led, you can speak to this a little bit, is that Dan was a guy that was really very, very good at, especially at the beginning, before it got a little tired, getting his message and really intermingling with not only the players, but the fans. The whole way they used to have the fans up there for those 2 weeks during the training camp, and the whole thing with the armed forces. I think whoever we get in as a coach is going to have at least some of those same sensibilities.
Well, yeah, no doubt. Steve Cannon's a high-ranking military guy who's connected to all the bases and so forth, and I think he's Naval Academy.
Yep,
he might be Army or Navy, but yeah, he's a high-ranking former military exec with Mercedes-Benz. He's Falcons president, so I'm pretty sure that'll go on and continue. That'll be in line with the principles of the organization. But that's all well and good until you start, you got to win some football games.
Got to win.
Football. They want to sell tickets. They want to get folks back in the house, start winning the football game.
Absolutely.
One more time before we go, we got to give a big shout out to Allan, Vigil, Ford, and Lincoln. They are, in fact, our high school sponsor of the game of the week. We do it live from Hines Ward Field. It's been named now Hines Ward Field, historic Terra Stadium. And again, sponsored by our good friends, Mr. Allan Vigil at Allan Vigil Ford. And we hope to actually have him on next week. There he is right there. We hope that he will be joining us next week on the broadcast, and you can hear from him directly. Well, guys, listen, we gave everybody a bonus. We went overtime tonight. Appreciate you guys taking time out with us here, and just excited we could talk about some upbeat stuff. And D-Led, we kind of left Barry off the hook. Barry is also a big Georgia Tech fan, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Hey, well, listen. Hey, what did I say at the beginning of the year on that first show? I said they'll probably go 6-6 this year. They're sitting at 2-3. Hey, I don't know. I need to look at their schedule, see how many games they actually play because of COVID-19. But hey,
right.
If they play 500 ball, hey, that's all I expected from them this year. And then look for their roster with all sophomores and freshmen playing right now as juniors next year to make a big leap. But hey, nobody wanted to say nothing about them Bulldogs. So hey. Both teams lost this weekend. And hey, y'all don't want to talk about that, right? But that's cool. I digress. I'm gonna flip the subject back to Coach Bowden one time before we get off the air. Met him with my travel baseball team many years ago down in we were down in Panama City playing in the World Series down there. Matter of fact, great year. We finished 4th in the world that my team that year. And so shout out to the Georgia Monarchs. Going down there and doing their thing. Met Coach Bowden in the elevator to show what you said is so true about him being so personable. He go to these guys, we getting ready to get to the field for a game, and he's in the elevator. I'm like, oh my God, that's Bobby Bowden.
Yep.
Like, how you doing, Coach? And he said he took the time on that elevator ride to talk to us all the way down and told our players, the couple of players that were with me on the elevator, told them young men, good luck today. That's how personable Coach Bobby Bowden is, man. And now those same players that I'm talking about, those kids are like anywhere from 23 to 25 years old now. And I bet they remember that moment meeting the legendary Bobby Bowden on that elevator, because I sure do. So shout out to Bobby Bowden, man.
No doubt, man. He's when you meet these guys, you see why they are the legendary coaches they are, because even same thing, they have the same thing that great politicians have. They have that ability to, in fact, they have that ability to connect with people, and that's really the big thing. No matter what you do, if you're able to connect with people, you're going to go a long way no matter whatever you do in your life. And both of you guys do the same thing. You connect with people. That's why all of us know if you go into that press room and it's the Falcons, listen. I saw it with my own eyes. We actually waited, okay, because there's one guy gets the first question that press conference. I don't care what goes on, and we actually stood there. Everybody looking around, said, "No." Everybody like, "Nope." And D-Led had to go in the locker room. We came back in there, and we all just, okay, bro, we waiting on you. And even Matt Ryan kind of looked. He said, "That's it." So That's what it is. It's that ability, man, to connect with people and to be able to do your job without poking somebody in the eye. Because again, when you're in the media, I mean, you can approach it differently. You can be a guy that kind of, tries to embarrass people and do expose stuff all the time, and D-Led doesn't do it. Now, he's going to get you straight, and he's not afraid to go and have Twitter beef, because I seen he had beef with our young wide receiver? D-Led said the guy was playing. But D-Led said, look, man, he said, your play on the field hasn't been adequate. And sure enough, the young man has spent very little time on the field for our Atlanta Falcons. All right, one more time on social media before we get out of here. Chris Dunlap bops in here. Chris says, he's talking about them. I think he's talking about the Braves. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I think
he's probably talking about Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
I got a question. Why nobody wants to talk about Georgia always losing to Alabama? I mean,
listen,
nobody wants to talk about that. I don't understand. Y'all scared?
I want to echo what you said, Barry, about Georgia Tech. That quarterback is nice.
Oh yeah.
I think he got something there. He got something to build around. That's the hardest part to get. So I got to get some big uglies up there and some speed to keep up with the Clemson guys. cut that thing down from 73 to 40 something and try to be in the game here in a couple of years.
What you say, some big uglies, D-Led? You got to see some
you
them road graders?
Yeah, you got to push some people around, man. We're going to see some Big Ten football on Saturday. That's all they do up there. You got to be able to knock some people off the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And listen, at the end of the day, I mean, it's like this. Anytime you make a transition, it takes time. So I don't want to, I mean, we all kind of make a joke, but nobody's really taking shots at Georgia Tech because they took a risk. Anytime you I don't say poke the bear, but anytime you look at the bear and tell him you ain't scared, the bear going to call you on it. And so Georgia Tech going into this game, you know, of course they do a uniform reveal every week, but, you know, their whole thing has been all about the 404. I don't say any bad comments, but they basically were like, we're not scared of Clemson. And for the first half of the first quarter, they played that way.
Right.
But
they did. Talent difference took over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, they can't play with Clemson, man. They, like DJ said, we have a quarterback that has a bright future. We have a running back, Gibbs, outstanding running back. Those two are going to make plays for Georgia Tech. Just continue to watch them, and you'll see. They're showing glimpses of greatness right now, but they're going to struggle because their depth chart is all freshmen and sophomores. That's all they have. So watch for next year. I think next year will be their breakout year where they have a possibility to do some damage. But like D said, Clemson and Georgia Tech, the talent level is when you got an All-American backing up an All-American backing up an All-American. Clemson is now what Florida State used to be. They got All-Americans backing up All-Americans. It's just plug and play, and that's all they're doing right now. So
Dabo basically, you know, at the beginning, Clemson was Alabama light. You know, he's an Alabama guy, grew up on this situation, and he basically imitated what Nick Saban. And listen, D-Let will tell you, we can go all the way back to when we were little kids looking at the great teams when the power was in the Midwest. And you had Bo Schemblecker and you had Woody Hayes. That's how he did, man. These guys stacked them up 3, 4, 5 deep at every position. That's how they roll. All right, Chris Dunlap, he wants to throw at least not some shade. He just wanted to point out here that the fact that UJ always loses to Alabama because that has been a problem with them. He's actually a Buckeye fan, so he was happy when Jason Fields left. So that's it. Well, listen, guys, again, we appreciate you for hanging out with us. And all the good stuff. Appreciate all you people on social media, especially guys on Facebook. Chris, appreciate you. Offensive coordinator, Coach Hardy, we appreciate you. We also appreciate you guys from DNK Sioux City, now providing our Offensive Player of the Week with a gift certificate. Thank you for that. And one last shot from Mr. Football. He says, Barry, stop crying. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Always the last word from Mr. Football.
I'll take care of Mr. Football later, man. I know we got to go, man.
We sure do.
All right.
All right, God bless everybody. And until the next time, guys, remember, get to know the Lord Jesus Christ because that's the best way to have a life well lived. And that's how you get into the happy place when you leave. All right, everybody, until the next time, stay tuned, but God bless and be safe. So long.
All right, good night.
Good night.